But today we have a practitioner who actually apply the blended learning concept into the classroom practice. And then she is here to share her experience as educator and also the perspectives of the learners when they are actually experiencing digital learning, blended learning in their classrooms. So may I invite Dr. Vagmita Tyagi to make your presentation. Over to you, madam.
Thank you so much, sir. And wonderful good evening to everyone. I am actually feeling like a newbie in this galaxy of intellectuals. It is such an honor, and I am totally overwhelmed to be a part of such profound, exceptionally talented, wonderful intellectual people out there. Won't take much of your time. I'll be straight away starting with the presentation, in which there are certain practical applications that we have taken up in our school, and if you permit, I would definitely share this thing with you. I hope the screen is visible, sir.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
this we are going to be talking about the flipped classroom, the flipped learning and practical implementation. Though the 90% of my job was already done when Saramma ma'am actually, she talked wonderfully well about the technological aspects of the terminology, the nomenclature, and she has wonderfully explained. So the presentation is basically going to be dealing with the practical implementation of flipped learning. As quoted by Bennett, the flipped classroom isn't a methodology, it's an ideology. And we truly believe that, so we shall proceed with this quote in mind. So teaching as goes, teaching is one of the instruments of education, and its special function is to impart understanding and skill. The main function of teaching is to make learning effective. And as we all know, India has been bestowed with the title of Vishwaguru. The teaching learning practices have come a long way from ancient times when everything was taught through verbal inputs to introducing on Bhojpatra. Now, as we talk about education policy, we talk about making India come at par with the world. We should feel proud that we have always led the world from front. We have always been leading in the field of education. It is just that we need to regain our strength and get the glory back. Please don't paint flipped teaching ideas and techniques with a black and white brush. They are clearly more nuanced than that. And it is not about chalk and duster. It is much beyond than that. So as we talk about the COVID-19, the pandemic, as we have been all talking about, the world came to a standstill when COVID-19 gave a massive hit to planet Earth. It was not just one sector that was brutally hit, but the whole world was shaken up, and education sector was no exception to it. But as they say, life finds its way, and so did education. With no option left, the teachers immediately shifted to online mode of teaching. This was definitely a revolutionary step, and the world welcomed this change with open arms. Online teaching became a common household name, as now, along with teachers, the parents were fully involved too. But it simply did not mean to teach the text and get the task done. Teaching does not re-evolve around syllabus completion, but it is far beyond than that. It is a continuous ascent from remembering to creating, following the Bloom's taxonomy and also making the students understand their perspective. Now, when I talk about the Bloom's taxonomy, we all know that it flows from the grassroots level of remembering to creating. As all my learned members can see, that it is basically like the food chain that we basically talk in biology. So the food chain says that the producers are at the massive level, and as we go to the higher level, this graph gradually decreases. So the same thing is over here. When we talk about remembering, understanding, applying, you can see the broad horizons. But when it comes to evaluating and creating, the domain gets slightly shrinked up. So what we feel is that with this blended mode of learning and the higher order thinking skills, will definitely find more aspects and horizons to explain. As quoted by John Hall, learning is not the product of teaching. Learning is the product of the activity of learners. So as a teacher, as an educator, what I have taught counts up to a certain limit. But what my student has absorbed, has applied, has analyzed, has created counts more than what I have taught. So the regular classroom teaching practice is that the teacher delivers new learning to the student face to face. That was happening pre-pandemic classes. Students listen, they interact, take notes, and consolidated new learning, new knowledge during homework, or follow-up tasks. So this was the regular framework of the classroom that we have always been following. Now, when we talk about the flipped classroom, the students do the basic learning prior to working with the teacher. They cover the applied learning and any problems in class. Students access a teacher-created website, or maybe, the students are really smart enough, they create their own websites nowadays, and they watch teacher-created source videos on their devices. As told by Saramma Chandy ma'am about the synchronous and asynchronous aspects of flipped learning. They're able to stop, rewind the information as often as they need until they understand the concept. There is less passive learning in class and more active and personalized learning. Class time is freed up for. Now, this is what we are going to be concentrating more on. We have been talking about the advantages, the disadvantages, but the basic advantages, the freed up time that can be utilized for student-centered learning activities, inquiry-based learning, project-based learning, the collaborative work that children come up to, and teacher-assisted learning. Because we all know that, the teacher, she needs to be understanding, she needs to be taking care of children who want to apply this knowledge. So assessment is required. And more importantly, when we talk about the life skills, because we have been following the implementation of life skill. When we talk about technology, wonderful aspect, good going, even according to the new education policy, it says we are really thankful to the policy makers who have introduced artificial intelligence as one of the skill subjects from class 6th onwards. Is definitely an appreciable step. But with technology comes the humane aspect, and that can only happen when we will be having life skills incorporated learning. So these are the life skills that we incorporate. I would just read out them to you. That talks about self-awareness, self-management, the difference between empathy and sympathy. We need to, and we are definitely following that. From sympathetic point of view, we have shifted our point to empathetic point of view. From problem solving and decision making to interpersonal relationships, because COVID-19 has taught us what social distancing is. And that is why this terminology came into existence, that are we really inclined to go for social distancing, or should we be inclined towards physical distancing and remain socially connected? So interpersonal relationships play a very, very important role in building up in the foster years of child, because whatever skill the child is going to absorb in the foster years, that is going to shape up the personality. Accepting criticism. This is one of the major reasons that, children fail at certain point of time and go under depression when they are unable to accept criticism. So as an educator, it is our role, it is our duty to teach, accept criticism in a positive manner. Stress management, thinking and creativity. Creativity, as I just told you about the Bloom's taxonomy, it is the highest order of thinking skill, and that is what needs to be incorporated rather than rote learning. It is not the time when the teacher is holding a ruler, beating a child and making the child learn 2 twos are 4, 2 threes are 6, 2 fours are 8. No, we have gone far, far, far beyond that. There are different ways and methods for multiplication, analyzing. And I would just here like to emphasize that Gargi takes this up in the form of sports integrated learning, where we have taken peg cards along with teaching of mathematics subject, communication and collaboration. So without communication, without collaboration, things don't work out. And this is again very important during the time of technological communication, because what is said may differ from what is interpreted. So communication has to be very, very balanced, and all these things need to be taken up in blend with technology. So here I would like to share what we have actually practically implemented. With due permission from everybody, as you can see on the slide, I have mentioned the links and also the subjects in which we have incorporated. So the first video is about food production, and very proudly I say that with new education policy that talks about skill subjects, we already have n number of skill subjects that we offer to our students. So with due permission, I would just like to share, I wouldn't be sharing all the videos because that is going to be very time consuming. So the first video, that is food production. The students have taken this up, made the video, and they have incorporated and worked upon it. So I want all of you to please kindly have a look on the video, and just with a technical hit.
Dr. Vagmita, sound is not coming.
Sound, I think so, sir. Sound would be a problem.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's coming now.
Right. Sir, as all of you honorable members, I would just like to emphasize on one thing over here. As you had seen that there was a dish that was with the name khapsi.
Yeah.
Sir and ma'am, I would just like to emphasize on this part specifically. We'll shift to the next video. Khapsi is a traditional dish that is a traditional dish of Meghalaya and Arunachal Pradesh. So according to CBSE, we had been given art integrated learning where we were supposed to pick up the topics, the cuisines, the dishes. So the home science children, the food production, the children who have opted for that, they incorporated and they made this special dish khapsi with the topic and the subject that they had. So again, what I feel is that the children have come up wonderfully well, and they have actually taken this up in a very, very profound manner. So I think so this screen sharing is on, and would like to make all of you see very quickly the commerce stream. We all know Modi ji, our Honorable Prime Minister, talking about I don't know. There's some technical hitch. I don't think so. I'll be able to make you see this. But what I would like to tell about this particular thing over here is that when Modi ji was talking about vocal for local, so the Commerce Department with their teacher and we all of us took it up, and Gargi has a company that is run with the name Pehel, where the students prepare their own products, they market it up, the raw materials are taken up, the designing is done by the humanities students, the commerce students, they prepare, the whole balance sheet and everything. The science students, they have been, the stream-wise bifurcation has been done. So when Modi ji came up with this idea, vocal for local, before we could come up with something, the students took up this initiative. So this is what is happening, that the leash basically is taken care and given in the students' hand. So when the students are taking up these activities, we are actually able to deliver what they feel, and they are doing it wonderfully well. The next video is about the fashion technology. This again is a very, very important thing that was taken up by the students, because pandemic hit very badly. And when pandemic hit very badly, the masks were something that were the need of the hour. So the fashion technology students, they started manufacturing masks at home, and not only simple mask, but the designer masks. So this was just a glimpse of the things that we have been doing by incorporating the blended mode of learning. And there was a certain reason, honorable members, for sharing these videos. And the reason was that all these links, I have taken it up from my official Facebook page account, which tells that this is something that we have been doing for past quite a long time, specifically when pandemic was at the peak and there was a requirement of involving students all together, because there was no face-to-face communication. Right. And at a point of time, even the webness, even the online mode of teaching, where only the teacher is giving a lecture and every child is at the recipient end, everything becomes boring. So to make it interactive, to involve the students, it is very, very important that we incorporated all the things integrated with art integrated learning. And it came out wonderfully well. It not only helped us to make the students more interactive, but also made them more innovative. As you can see, a simple subject like fashion technology, where students must have done something when they would have been in the school, but the teacher actually made them work at home and come up with an idea And the mask that was considered as a taboo, the people were not wearing masks. There was many of them said, we are feeling suffocating, we don't want to wear the mask, how boring it is to wear the mask. So we were so happy that the girls innovated it in a very beautiful manner, and the masks became a big hit. We started getting people from outside that, ma'am, in case you can provide us these wonderful masks that actually stand out from the raw thing. Not only that, sir, what I feel basically is the involvement of the students, as ma'am said about LMS, the learning mechanism. So by God's grace, I am an observer of one of the projects that CBSE has taken up, Innovative Ambassadors. So this Innovative Ambassador basically talks about the image acts. We are working with AICTE in collaboration with AICTE. So right now, the training is going on for the teachers, and very soon we'll be taking up it for the students. So here what I feel is that when we're making the teachers learn about design thinking, so at the same time, when it is just a lecture mode is going on, so the interactive session is not there. The students or the teachers, they feel left out. At the same time, when the presenter involves the students and asks them to present their views, or it becomes more interactive, the things definitely go up and step up to the next level. So this was all from my side, talking about the practical implementation, because nomenclature, we all know, I mean, we are also wonderful people, but this is what I wanted to share my part, that yes, we are taking it up in schools, this blended mode of learning. I would have loved to show you all my videos, but I'm so sorry, I know time constraints are there. We have question answer round, which everybody would be waiting out for interactive session. But in case if all my wonderful academic family out there, in case if you can go and visit our official Facebook page, you can see how beautifully we have tried to implement this blended mode of teaching learning, where we are nowhere to be seen. It is only the faces of the students that you'll be seeing. Even the editing, the reviewing, and the technical hold is being taken up and taken care by the students themselves. Thank you so much for giving me such precious time. I am extremely thankful to Hemlata ma'am for actually trusting and believing. I don't know how much justice I was able to do to this wonderful platform, but definitely it was an honor. Thank you, Dr. Pushpnadham. It was wonderful interacting with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Vagmita. Nicely presented your ideas. It is actually the blending of theory and the practice. You have seen the smiles on the faces of children when they are actually applying the blended mode, experiential learning. And you believe that such experiential learning can really enhance their learning outcomes, and also it makes the entire teaching learning process more joyful and meaningful.